Hey guys, I was getting ready to film my defense video going over a ton of meta defenses. It's gonna be a lot of work, so wish me luck there. But I figured I would do a little bit of a side video as a precursor to that, going over this defense right here. The Ingrid Praetus I team. There's a very easy way to beat it with 2 units, as you can see right here. You do not need high BP, you just need a little bit of luck. And it's a it's a very funny strategy. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys in this video a little bit. And it's a little complicated. It will not work every time. But as you can see, Ingrid Praetus, these teams are running rampant right now. And I see them all the time. I see different variations that are harder now because people know the strategy, as you can see right here. But either way, it's really interesting. And right there, we win. No effort. I am not running my BP gear right now. It's just that easy, right? That's the strategy we will be using. I will obviously go into how you can do it. But first of all, let me explain a couple things. Number one, here was my BP. I mean, the BP was pretty decent, but as you could see by what happened, nothing really got damaged very often, right? And this strategy alone is the reason why where I am in, top 10 guilds and stuff, I do not see these I teams anymore because they're so easy. So if you see any of these, just employ this strategy. Like I said, it is RNG as hell. So of course, the way that you should be using this is like if your guild is really close with the other guild, you're within like 5%, 10%. And they're running a lot of these teams, and you need more damage, but you can't really find a way to beat any of their teams, then you could use the strategy. Because a lot of the time you will lose, and you won't get the RNG right. There's a couple things that make it wrong. I will dive into that very shortly. But I'm just going to show you guys how to do it first. First of all, we have spiders and we have dogs. You want to have your spiders first affiliate, and your dogs must be level 5 if you want this to work. It's a very hard team. It's a very whale heavy team. And I mean, that's just how it goes. Right? Now BP wise, let's put on our units. I actually realized I had worse BP than I thought, so whoops. The thing you saw me beating it earlier was actually with like 100k units. But anyways, let's get into how it works. So I will start placing down her crystals immediately, and if we get bad crystal RNG, we lose, and if she puts them down, too soon, we will lose. Ingrid also ramps up, Praetus ramps up, Procure gets his ult, and he Fs it all up. So what you have to do when you log in, or you load in, is you have to immediately, as fast as you can, you have to put spiders front. As fast as possible. The faster you can do it, the better every single time. You want to put them as fast as possible. There are 4 spiders. The tank can have a maximum of 4 block if they're running Bastion Ring, which 99% of the time they are running Bastion Ring. So what this means is these 4 spiders will get to Brokir, clog up his block so we no longer can block any extra units coming, and then we send 3 dogs, and they run through. That's the entire strategy here. It's about time, speed, and if you do not have the timing down, you will lose. So how do you know to send the dogs? I'm not sending the dogs instantly, because if you look at how it goes, when you send dogs instantly, as soon as they are up, what's going to happen is the dogs get to the tank first, and then they get blocked, and you lose, right? That's what happens. But if we wait and we use the timings, we end up getting them through. Now, the timings you need to use with these spiders is very specific. But luckily, the stage itself has a built-in way to know when you need to set them, which is really weird because they have this black line right here on the ground. As you can see right here, there's a very fine black line right here. And this is a very good visual indicator because we send the dogs right before the first spider reaches the line, you're going to want to send the first spider around, here. If you can see where my mouse is pointing, you want there to be like a little bit of a gap before the first spider hits. And the more fine and the more like, close you send these dogs to the spiders, like where the timing matches up and the dogs still go through, the closer you can line that up, the higher chance you have of this working, of course. And because it's really RNG, we want to maximize our chances. So there, I waited a little bit too long, but it should hopefully work because we got good iRNG. So as long as we don't get effed in the ass by Brokir, they will end up going through. As long as the spiders live long enough for the dogs to go through, we have won. You want to send them a little earlier than that, but of course I am commentating, so bear with me here. That's how you beat this team. But how can things go wrong? Number one is I will put things on the ground, as you were able to see through that, me beating it. And if she spawns this in one of 3 locations, especially 2 of those 3, in her range, you generally will not win. Because she will freeze you. She'll either freeze your spiders or freeze your dogs. And then Ingrid will blast them with her big blast, and you will die. Or Praetus will ult, and Praetus' ult hits multiple units, surprisingly, and you will lose. So you have to get good RNG there. And then Brokir, which is the main tank people use. You could use like a Cyrus or whatever, but it kind of breaks, and please don't use Cyrus. Cyrus sucks if you're going to make one of these teams. But anyways, Brokir has built-in freeze. When he receives damage, there's a 10% chance to inflict freeze on 2 enemies. That will take them off of your tank. It'll reduce, the amount of block that he has on them. So instead of it being 4 spiders, functionally only 2 spiders are blocking him. And then when your 3 dogs go through, 2 of them will get stuck on Brokir, and you'll only get 1 dog through. Damage is always good, and especially in a situation where you would use this attack, where it's like a high-risk situation and you don't have much else to do. It's still good, but it's not ideal. So let's kind of go in, and I'll show you guys a failed run, just very quickly, and then that'll kind of be it. Because, I show you guys how to do it. You guys can just replicate it. But here, I is placing on one of the dead tiles, which is this tile. If she summons it on this tile right here, or this tile right here, on her first spawn, you lose. And then if she places it in front of Brokir, it's going to purely depend on your timing and how fast that eye is. That's like one of the tiles where you could still potentially survive. But the ones on the back, you've lost, essentially. If she places on these 2 tiles, the best tiles for her to place them on is this tile right here and this tile right here, which are dead zones. They will never hit any units that you place, and those, functionally, she's placing them on someplace useless. So that's kind of what you want to aim for. As you can see, her range right here. This tile right here, you could potentially live if Ingrid doesn't do the big blast and kill your dogs right here. It's a bit complicated, okay? But let me show you what happens here. So we're going to put the spiders. I'm going to look for that black line. Try to, time it in a way that I know it should pretty much work. I'm going to wait a little bit longer, and then I'm going to send them right there. We should have timed it pretty well. As you can see, the dogs are going to get through. A little bit. Brokir did the passive, like I mentioned. He froze them. But it was, after a while. And then they hit eyes, spike. And they got blasted. And they lose. That's just kind of what happens. So you just gotta reevaluate, do it again, and hope that eye does it a bit differently. So that is where this is not like a 100% foolproof, completely like game-changing strategy. But even this strategy alone is enough where it has shifted the meta defenses that people are using a little bit to go away from using eye teams. So that's kind of how you do it there. And that's really all I have for you guys. So big thanks to Mac for setting this for me. He doesn't actually run this. Some other variations, though, I guess I will go over before I end off the video. If you do want to figure out a way to, strengthen this, My team is not geared, but here's some better teams to use. Number one, you use Dahlia back here. Obviously, I will talk more about these, why they're good, how to build them, blah, 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 in a video in the future. But you could use a Dahlia. Dahlia is a hero that places things on the ground that's slow. You know, they do a lot of damage. Any ground units you use, like a spider, dead. Dogs, slowed. You know, everything gets slowed, everything dies, and then you just kind of kill it. And it makes the strategy not even vaguely possible in any sense of the word. And if you were not playing when Dahlia came out and you're using something else, you could use something like a greed team. Oh, I'm using greed on another thing. Pretend that Iona's greed, okay? I'm not building it. I'm not like building it fully. You could run something like an Ingrid back here. You could run Praetus here, and then you could run this. You know, this is decent. I know that there's actually a variation using like Mari, which you could use and still use I. It's a bit complicated, but at the end of the day, that's how you beat those teams. It's honestly pretty damn easy, and like it is an RNG fest at the end of the day. But like I said, it is it is a good way to beat them. So hopefully this helps, and that's it for me. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you would like, and that's it for me. Destin signing out.